Okay, I'll start first by telling you all why the budget is important to us. Okay, why is the budget important to us? A long story short, is that if last year students, if their school didn't go through the budget with them, and if the school didn't go through the budget with them, last year student, and they didn't study budget on their own, and they didn't attend tuition with us, which we did cover the budget, they won't be able to do question 4 of last year's essay question, which was about how come small open economies like Singapore, is it possible for us to achieve inclusive and sustainable growth? So only with studying the budget, then you will be able to figure out that answer is actually it is possible to achieve. Right, but you need to know the policy specific and why is it and how is it that we're able to achieve them. So this is why the budget is actually important if you ask me. Right, but of course, other than that, number one, a lot of questions are going to be like Singapore economy, what are our key challenges, and what are policies that we have to achieve these to address these challenges. And two, you need to understand the decision-making framework with regards to government policy making. What are trade-offs of policies? What are intended and unintended consequences? And what are the constraints of the government? So actually, what exactly is the budget about? Okay, the budget has a few features that you need to pay attention to. Number one, what is the government intending to spend in the upcoming year? Number two, how much the government thinks they will earn in government revenues in the entire year? And number three, so in the previous year, right, what was the fiscal position? Now, so these are basically the key themes of this year's budget. Okay, so we are basically going to go through these 4 parts: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this you can find. I think we should have printed for you. Did we print for them this part? Yes. We did, huh? Okay, we'll probably skip this part. Okay, no, don't skip. Even though the class is small, let's not skip it. You use the alamak, what are they? What are these? Let's smack these baby. Okay, so I want you to focus on 1, 2, and 3. This one not so important. This one not so important. So just 1, 2, and 3. So you can probably choose any group to discuss. Because in an ideal situation, I will have 3 groups, but we have 1 group. So you choose any 1 group to discuss. 10 minutes. Okay, discuss what? Let me show you the slide again. Okay, what exactly are your economic objectives linked to this policy? It means to say that you look at these policies, I want you to figure out what do you think the government is trying. You know your 4 macro aims, right? And your 2 micro aims, right? What do these policies feel like the government wants to achieve? What macro objectives do you think they want to achieve? And then 2 is how do you think these policies will help to achieve these objectives? And 3, what are some concerns, limitations, or trade-offs associated with such a policy? And the opinion, maybe you can skip that. So it's just a 10-minute short discussion. Choose one group to focus on, then you can discuss. Just do me a favor and really actually discuss any one group of policies. Alright? Make sure you got economic rigor.
So these are the policies you just pick. it's not like protectionism, right? It's more like just to help them. Isn't it like against other countries? You're right, free trade agreements.
Which one do you choose?
Economic linkage from the middle one. We
Yeah.
took everything from middle one, yeah.
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 Okay, so what was the problem that you all identified? The macro objective.
Huh?
Oh, free trade agreements.
We're not there yet. We're still doing the startup SG equity.
And then anything else?
We're not anywhere.
I feel like you all are very far away there.
Soon.
No, I feel like you all are very far away from figuring out what this whole lesson is about. Never mind, later we come back and discuss because I think you are quite far off. Hey, come, never mind, it's okay.
Shit, what are you doing the wrong thing?
I think you're doing it wrong. Show me your paper.
I remember.
Yeah, so Salah already. Show me your paper. That's confirm wrong already. Hey, how's the Singapore economy doing? Now, your budget, basically what you want to do with the budget, right, is an opportunity to use it. Because what is the budget about? You're identifying what the government intends to spend and what the government intends to collect in terms of taxes on a yearly basis. So when you're looking at the country's budget, it's always an opportunity to fix some of the problems that you have using government policies. Right? So the government's budget has to address the present issues. At least that is the case that we know in Singapore. Let's look at the 3 issues that we actually have. You always start from an issues perspective. Don't start from a policy perspective. Start from an issue perspective. Then figure out, so are we doing any good to these issues that we have? Are we using any policies to fix any issues that we have? Number 1, we have slow growth and we have potential recession. Are you all already aware of that?
I thought a recession passed already.
Not past. He hasn't even started. Do you know that there is a global stocks meltdown lately?
Is it because of the virus?
It's a virus, and then Saudi Arabia too stunned. They decrease prices of oil. They cut prices of oil, and there's a lot of panic going on recently. Right. So let's look at a few points. Number 1, Singapore's economy in 2019 was already not doing well. How do we know that? We had 0.7% growth only in 2019. You're wondering how bad is that? It's the slowest that we ever had in the last 1 whole decade. This is the slowest growth we had since the 2008 global financial crisis, the slowest. Alright? And this is largely due to impacts of US-China trade war and also a general sense of pessimism in 2019 globally. Okay, so next. Economic growth, right? We haven't done this kind of like revisions for a very long time. You know what was the original estimate for our economic growth this year? I think December last year, MTI, Ministry for Trade and Industry, right? They estimated our growth this year to be between 0.5% to 2.5%. They have since revised it downwards to negative 0.5% to 1.5%. That is the range that Singapore economy is expected to go into this year.
What was the original one?
0.5 to 2.5.
Oh, so they moved by 1.
So they move back by 1% exactly. If you ask me, right, I think it will be more of nearer to this range than to this range.
It will be negative.
I think it's going to be negative. That is my opinion, my personal opinion. I don't think it will be significantly negative, maybe negative 0.3, that kind of numbers, right, with the government policies that we have put in place. But I think it's going to be active. Right, COVID-19 outbreak. The one everybody has known. We've covered this in the last few lessons. Tourism sector is affected, retail sector is affected, private transport sector is affected, air travel sector is affected. So you realize if you go around Singapore now, right, you go to the malls, right, you realize that you only see Singaporeans. You really don't quite see tourists anymore, and that is a very crazy thing. The USS is nice to visit now. Very, very nice to visit now. If you want to go now, it's a pretty decent. Close. It's a pretty decent time to go. I haven't gone, but my math friend was telling me that he went and there was no one on the streets. He's like, he felt like he owned the park. Wow, that's such a nice feeling to have. Right, so I'll probably go soon.
But the price go down.
Oh, there's this deal now. Do you know? You pay for 1 day ticket, you get 6 months for free.
Ah.
Oh. Faster go, quickly go. You pay for 1 day ticket, you get 6 months free.
Yeah, this is a very bad A-level, you're right.
Right, so yeah, obviously you know that these sectors have been hurt. So the crash, this one is very lately. This one is just the last 1-2 days. So I just added into these slides. I just created this set of slides actually. Up to today morning I was still updating this set of slides. There's been a crash in oil prices and there's a crash in stock markets. Do your parents have a lot of spare cash? If they have a lot of spare cash, and if you trust me enough, then you can tell your parents this. If they got a lot of spare cash and they like to be really rich, throw their throw their cash into blue chips and don't touch it for the next 4-5 years. Blue chips are your very very safe kind of stocks like OCBC, DBS, Capital Core, SIA. These are all safe to buy. Then if you throw it into it, because the stock market has crashed a whole lot, this is actually a good time to buy stocks. Very very good time to buy stocks. That is why if you are an economist, you're gonna make big bucks one day because you know exactly when to buy this kind of stuff. Hey, anyway, so this is issue number 1. Let's go on to issue number 2. Hey, we know that from these various issues before, right, there is going to be fall in aggregate demand, isn't it? Fall in consumption because consumer confidence is dampened. Fall in investment because investors are feeling pessimistic. Fall in net exports because nobody's buying, nobody's coming for tourism. So AD will fall, real national income will fall, your economic growth will fall. But when your AD fall, it's not just as simple as that. Your AD fall, your output level will fall. If your output fall, what happens? Firms will cut back on hiring, which leads to your economic issue number 2, cyclical unemployment. Okay, your economic issue number 3, structural unemployment. This got nothing to do with COVID. This got nothing to do with US-China trade war. This is like a ongoing. You know medical terms. What's the difference between chronic and acute? You know what is chronic illnesses versus acute illnesses? So you call flu. Is that a chronic illness or is it acute illness? Acute, because it's a short term, it's like a comes and go thing. What is chronic? If you got diabetes, is it chronic or acute? It's chronic. You got to live with it, and it will always be there. It's not going to go away, isn't it? So your structural unemployment is that those kind of slow death kind of pain kind of thing. It will never go away. It's been there harming for the last few years. It will continue harming for the next few years. Heck, it will go on till year 2030. Right? What's causing structural unemployment? Number 1, automation. Number 2, the changing nature of jobs. It will lead to some skills and some industries, entire industry will become obsolete. Right? So what kind of skills are we talking about? Yeah, we talked about this before. Supermarket cashier, confirmed wrong case. At some point, drivers. The whole taxi industry, if they don't innovate and you become driverless, right, they're also going to become wrong case.
Isn't there like a very large proportion that wouldn't trust machines to drive?
Sorry, louder?
Isn't there a very large proportion that wouldn't trust machines to drive them around?
Wouldn't trust machines to drive them around. No, you see, the thing here is this: is that if you always have a choice. You probably always have a choice. If you're talking about are you going to drive yourself around or are you going to let machine drive around? If you are talking about you buying a car and then you drive the car yourself or you let the car drive you, I'm sure there's going to be an option. You can choose the driver option, which is you drive yourself. You can try to choose a driverless option. But when it comes to buses, when it comes to ride hailing, means you use an app, right? You call a Uber, you call a Grab, right? That one is not your choice, you realize now. That one is not going to be your choice. That one is going to be the firm's choice. And the firm's choice is whatever cost is lower, whatever that makes more profits and business sense to them. If it makes more sense for them to drive themselves around or drive you around driverless, then it's going to be driverless. So it's got nothing to do with your preferences unless you are the one that is buying the product. So when you're talking about services, those are the product. Then it's going to be driverless soon, pretty much soon. 2030, it will be driverless. So there's mismatch of jobs available in the economy and actually the skills of the workers who are unemployed. And there's actually abundance of jobs. What kind of jobs? Healthcare jobs, programming jobs. These are readily available. But a lot of these jobs, they can't be taken up by these workers who have lost their jobs because they don't have the correct skills. This is structural unemployment. But this is not something that's happened lately. It's ongoing. Happened before, happening now, and it will continue to happen. This is not going to go away. So this is a very important issue that this year's budget, last year's budget, last year's budget, next year's budget, next year's budget, next 5 freaking years budget, we are still going to be dealing with this. I'll probably not have to change this slide in the next 5 years. I don't have to change this slide in the next 5 years. It's going to remain. These 2 slides will change. This slide next year still there one. So you got to identify these issues. When you identify these issues, then you can see how your policies are going to fit into these issues. Right, so wow, I did some hard work, man. I did it for you. This one is not like This is not from the year one. This one is must go and research, then summarize for you, not cut and paste one. It's a really summarize, then explain for you. And obviously there's nowhere to cut and paste from. Nowhere to cut and paste from because the budget just came out not long ago. It won't be inside school notes all. Correct or not? So there's nowhere to cut and paste from. I have to do this hard work and summarize this for you. This is just a couple of weeks ago's budget. Now, so if you worried about this, you don't worry lah. These slides are available on the LMS one. You can go home and download the slides. You can always go home and download the slides. Let's go through this. First, we got to deal with the first two problems, isn't it? What are the first two problems again? Cyclical unemployment and slow growth, which was caused by multiple factors, but largely primarily being COVID and the US-China trade war and the pessimism and then the crash in oil prices. Those factors you must know. But ultimately, it led to these two issues. How we deal with these two issues? This is a $4 billion package. Okay, you can learn the name of the full package. It's called Stabilization and Support Package. It has these things inside. Okay, which this is only. I mean, you read the thing. There got so many policies inside. You can read more if you want lah. You don't have to stick by these four lah. But I think these four to me are the most important ones. So obviously A-level examiners they're not going to expect you to memorize everything. So in each puzzle you go choose like 4 or 5 that you want to read out about. Understand. If you memorize your life is going to suck. I promise you. If you memorize, your life is going to suck because you can't bloody write evaluations. You can't bloody write evaluation. I want to show you something cool. I don't know whether you all watch my YouTube or not. Oh yeah, don't need to go to YouTube. You can just go to Tuition Genius. I just updated the website. Now there's this new part called EDG TV. You all can go and click. The podcast lor. The podcast is on Spotify.
Last time I checked only got two.
You see now how many oh? You see now how many oh? You open now you see how many lah.
How many economics?
Minus 0.5%. Hi, this is Eugene for 5-Minute Economics. Today we're going to do some coverage on the Singapore budget 2020. Now, before we start looking at the budget, I think it's apt that we look at some challenges that the Singapore economy is currently facing. Singapore economy saw the slowest growth that we have ever seen in a whole decade, and we only registered a 0.7% economic growth last year in 2019.
Let me change the sound to the projector so that it's louder because my sound here is very soft. Let's try to see if.
Now that's the first issue. The second issue is that unemployment has also been slowly creeping up. Our lowest unemployment ever registered is 1.9%. As of last year, our unemployment rate is around 2.3%, which is higher than usual. So unemployment is surely creeping up. Now first, let's look at exports. We know that exports is a key engine of growth in Singapore, but exports were declining for 11 out of 12 months last year, only seeing a slight recovery in December 2019. But we all know what happened after that, the COVID-19 outbreak. Now with this COVID-19 outbreak, MK has revised its GDP growth estimate to between minus 0.5% and 1.5%, which means there is a possibility of a recession happening in the year 2020. Now let's explore what are the challenges that the Singapore economy is currently facing. Our first challenge is to try to keep unemployment rate in Singapore low. A decrease in demand for goods and services, we expect firms will want to lay off some workers to actually keep their costs low. And so to help counter that, the government has come up with this scheme called the Job Support Scheme. What is this Job Support Scheme? It is similar to what the government came out in the 2009 budget. In the 2009 budget, the government wrote out a jobs credit scheme. In this year's budget, the government wrote out a Job Support Scheme. Now what is this Job Support Scheme? The government will basically cover for 3 months 8% of the total wage bill for firms, which means to say that firms will actually see their costs coming down, and this will help them to keep workers employed. Now, with payments only due to come in July, will this be too late for firms who are facing cash flow issues? Now, that is the one thing that I have in mind for this.
Just now I was telling you about evaluation, right? What they just said, is there an evaluation? No, that is a policy, right? There's an evaluation, right? I'm going to show you how cool this is. I did this, I think we did this, in the same week that the budget came out. this is quite crazy, this is quite nuts. So we did this video in the same week that the budget came out. So that was the evaluation we gave, right? We say, wow, July like, a bit too slow leh, like will firms die. So that was the evaluation we gave. So it shows that we are actually thinking, and our thinking makes sense because do you see what the government did there? Do you realize that it is quite nuts? So evaluation means that you think about actually the policy, does it make sense? So we were commenting that, hey, you say you want to provide this support, but now the budget is in February. Then the support is also only supposed to come in July. That's 5 months. Some firms will have shut down by then. So that's why we say, hey, is it too slow? Then you see, in the end, this was the thing that happened. Right? It's not because of our video, but it's something that's logical. So it should have happened if they thought through about their policy and what made sense and what didn't make sense. That's what an evaluation is. So if you don't understand the policy well, I guarantee you can't write this kind of evaluation that makes sense. Don't memorize policies, understand them, then you can write evaluation for the policy. Okay, so anyway, let's come back to the slides. You can continue and watch the video if you want. There's a shit ton of video. There's no point in showing you the video now lah. You go and watch on your own. Okay, it's on tuitionengineers.com website or on our IG.
All the videos are podcast, right?
Sorry?
All the videos are podcast, right?
They are podcasts as well. There's a podcast version of the videos as well.
And every single one is podcast, right?
Yes. Okay, right. So coming back, so this is what we were talking about just now, the job support scheme. That was what you saw in the video just now. So that one I'm not going to explain to you. So corporate income tax rebate means they cut your corporate tax for 1 year. So it's a one-off thing. So you cut your corporate tax for 1 year, it increases your after-tax profits. Your after-tax profits go up, your investment should go up. So you can know clearly what kind of policy is this. Expansionary fiscal policy, because they are cutting taxes to encourage more investments. Then the government also enhanced this thing called an enterprise finance scheme working capital loan. Basically, what is this policy? Let me explain to you. So imagine, so the government tie up with the OCBC, DBS, UOB, all your local banks. So they're telling the banks, hey, you bank, go and lend money, please. Then after that, the bank will say, huh? Why? Why would I do that? Then I say, you lend money, if you lose money, what happened? Means you lose money, then what happened?
I give you back.
Yes, exactly, that is why. So the government actually engaged in this thing called risk sharing. Why is risk sharing? Risk sharing means what?
They back up your thing.
What's the problem with banks? Why do they refuse to lend money? What banks worry about?
Cannot return.
Yes, they worry about people that don't return right. People who default. So what's the government basically saying when they do risk sharing? They're saying if people default, the money that you lose, I will tank 80% of it for you. So that's basically what the government did here. The government increased their risk share from 50-50 to 80-20.
Also, they take 80%.
They take 80% if any default happens. So what would that encourage banks to do? To lend on?
It's like, then why they don't want just do some other policies?
You know lah, but it makes sense because it will, if banks are willing to lend, what firms will take this money to do? Invest which is good for the economy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so that's what they're doing. And for the firms that need cash flow to survive, right? They need cash flow to survive. They need to continue to pay their workers. What are they gonna do? They will also need to borrow what? Yeah. So this is what this enterprise financing scheme is all about.
Well, wouldn't most firms like choose to retrench workers after they cannot pay them?
It depends on. So this will help to avoid that, right?
So this under supply side policy.
Yes, somewhat. Okay, coming back. Property tax rebates and rental waiver. So the government gave property tax rebates 15 to 30%. So for properties that are under the government that the firms rent from the government, they give a property tax rebate. For property tax itself, what property tax is that, let's say my landlord, for example, if my landlord bought a property, he will have to pay property tax, right? So the government is hoping that if I give a rebate on the tax that the landlord has to pay, right, they will pass on these savings to the tenants who are running businesses, so that they have more cash flow. And NEA has actually waived 1 full month of rent for hawkers. Okay, again, this improves the firm's cash flow and reduces their need to retrench. So as you can see, this whole group of policies, what they're serving to do. They're solving our first two problems, first two macro issues, isn't it? What are the first two issues again? Cyclical unemployment. This is very heavy on trying to reduce cyclical unemployment. The other one was economic growth.
Wouldn't these policies be unable to be like carried out if the government no money?
Yeah, so that's why we got money, man.
Yeah, but in the event of like
Other countries,
no, like poor economic outlook, right?
Ah.
Then they want to do all this to improve the economy, but wouldn't the chance of them like being poorer like the government?
Yeah, it depends on which government you're talking about. For Singapore government, we have money, ma. Singapore government has money, ma. Hey, look at this whole bunch of policies. You tell me what this whole bunch of policies are trying to achieve. Do you all know?
Occupational working.
No. Try again.
But higher education.
So you try again. You all fail. Try again. What objective is this group of policies trying to achieve?
Addition, yes.
Okay, open your eyes bigger and open your brain wider. Think. What objective is this group of policies trying to achieve?
Is it a macro
We don't
policy?
call it equity.
Is
We
it a
don't call it
macro
equity.
policy or micro policy?
Yeah, macro is macro. It used to be micro. Then starting from the last 2-3 years, you change it to macro. Yes. Hey, y'all blind is it? Even the title also tell you already, right? Look here. Look at the title. Yes, that's yours. Look, where is it? Look, find the policies. Where are they? See here lah. They already give you a hint already, right? Our government not very creative one. When they look at the problem, right, it's inclusive growth, right? They come up with a spin on it. Even this one, walao, damn lame, oh. Take highlighter, I don't take highlighter yet. Have you figured out what this objective is? Our government is damn bloody uncreative one. We look at things from the economics lens, then we try to translate it to things that people will understand. you will be able to figure out what's the genesis of this group of policies and how they're coming about. Very easily one is like, wow, no
Isn't
brainer
that
one.
the point?
Yeah, but anyway, y'all didn't realize it what? The point then what? So what? You also didn't realize it what? So again, what these policies are trying to achieve? Inclusive growth, right? So how do you think these policies are achieving inclusive growth? Just use one to explain to me how is inclusive growth achieved. Anyone? I got so many here. Google now, go and read out, and then find out. Choose one. Everybody choose one, then you tell me. You read up about it, then tell me.
So what's the difference between equity and inclusive growth?
There's no difference.
Then, but one is macro.
One is micro, one is macro.
So one is
But we
equity.
never learned this macro objective until these last 3 years. It wasn't in the old curriculum.
Okay, so now-
I think Singapore also invent one.
okay, so for macro growth, you also need to know the branches of economic growth.
Pasal, no waste time. Choose one, go and read up about it, tell me about it, then tell me how does it help to achieve inclusive growth.
Oh, the financial assistance scheme one is like the.
You think hard first or?
Is it?
Don't give me stupid answers or. You think harder first or think properly first.
Okay, my teacher did this in GP just now. But is
Okay.
it like how
Okay lah, try lah.
people with higher education will like the demand for higher education, the increasing demand will create income inequality.
How about we want to achieve inclusive growth eh?
Yeah, so because you give everybody higher education then never mind, my GP answer doesn't work.
Doesn't work, GP answer doesn't work. Try again. First, tell me what is the policy first. You go and read out first. Know exactly what is it that we're doing. You can't do smoke screen in A-levels one. You must really actually know the policy. Like I said, if you know the policies, you can't write good evaluations for it. You must actually know the policies, then you can write good evaluations for it. So try again, man.有，
GST voucher is it the 100, 200, 300?
很像是。
I cannot find.
Why you don't want to continue your MOE financial assistance scheme?
Because I tried Googling, then until all the stupid bursary come out for students.
You type budget 2020 lah.
Very far. Must click here. I just go to the GST voucher can already. There's an entire website for it, so it's easier.
Okay, you all have anything ready? One each, one policy each. We cannot be the same policy. You choose one policy, you explain to me how that policy helps to achieve inclusive growth. You give me the details of the policy and then tell me how the policy helps to achieve inclusive growth.
No, they give me a summary.
Go man.
What?
Go. Which one?
The additional GST voucher.
Okay.
So there's like 3 branches, the cash, MediSave and USave. So, isn't it just giving like subsidies for these 3 domains?
You fail already because I don't see how does that promote inclusive growth at all.
I don't know how to link one.
You have to link. That is the point of econs essays or case studies. You have to make the
It's not
linkages.
bad.
Any of you are ready? Let me know.
Right.
Look at this.
How? So I can faster.
I gave up on the GST vouchers. I went back to the financial assistance.
Okay, tell me about what the government is doing for the MOE financial assistance. Go, quick.
But they give us very shit.
You want to say something?
Like, I just say a policy and how it helps.
Yes. How it deals with inclusive growth. You got one already? Which one you going to talk about?
No, it goes to vouchers.
Okay, you can try that. It's not difficult. I don't think it's difficult.
For like Singaporeans aged 21 and above who live in 1-room and 2-room HDB flats and don't own more than one property, they receive $100 in grocery vouchers each year in 2020 and 2021. So like those who live in 1-room and 2-room HDB flats are likely to be those who are less affluent. So by supporting them with grocery vouchers, it helps them with basic necessities.
Let me ask you, does this deal with inclusive growth? Does it help to build inclusive growth?
Everyone will ask me the same thing, like I thought.
You all fail, oh. I say, fail already. Like that, you take A level, you fail. I tell you, So I ask you, you look at the two words. Come, come see, open your eyes and see, The fact that there is two words, right, means got two criteria, right? One is the economy must grow, right? Two, that the growth must be inclusive, right? So actually, got two segments to it. One is that your economy need to grow. Two is your income inequality need to go down. So one going up, one going down at the same time. Those grocery vouchers do that. If you think about it.
To spend their money on other things.
Okay, so good. So if I make you spend lesser on groceries by giving you vouchers to spend on groceries, you have more money to spend on other things. True. But it technically doesn't raise their incomes. So if it technically doesn't raise their income, the income inequality actually doesn't get reduced. It doesn't get reduced, but their circumstances are improved. So it's not a strict achieving of inclusive growth, but it's in the right direction. So it's like somewhat there but not quite there kind of policy. Alright, but definitely also if you want to force it to achieve growth also very hard because the only fortunes it will boost for these grocery vouchers is the supermarkets. And that's not a very big part of the economy. Does that make sense? Okay, so next one, you try. What's next? Which one you want to go?
Actually, mine is the same as yours, what?
Or you wait first, you don't kanchong first. Your one later I'll change it for you and then it becomes something else.
GST or financial support?
Financial support.
Oh, I went back to GST.
MOE Financial Assistance Scheme. Oh, GST one interesting, no? If you want to talk about GST one, but I don't know whether you all can talk about GST one.
But I thought this like the grocery vouchers thing is more of a boost the non-material standard of living kind of policy.
Yeah, but it's not inclusive growth, ma.
Then why
That's
is
what
why
I'm
is
saying,
it
ma. It's parked under the inclusive growth. The government parked it under it. Yes. Fantastic. Good job. Good policy to choose. Why?
So like the government will like pay like workers extra money.
There's a very special group of workers that get this extra money.
For low wage workers and self-employed.
So please go and figure out how much is what is the definition of low wage. So you need to know the details of the policy. But when you give low wage workers extra income, guess what? You reduce income inequality because the income of low wage workers get increased. Then income inequality get reduced. That is actually inclusive. And why would they promote growth? Two reasons. Not very strong reasons, but two reasons. So you encourage low wage workers to stay employed as opposed to not working. In other countries, they can choose to just don't work. So if they choose to stay employed, you increase RIAs. That's one. Two, other than choosing to stay employed, the other thing about it is that if they have increase in wage, what can they do? They can consume. Consumption increase, AD increases. So it promotes consumption at the very least. Not significantly, but to some small extent, consumption will increase. Right, so that is why it promotes inclusive growth for the workfare special payment. How about you? What do you want to talk about?
The financial one.
Come on, talk about MOE Financial Assistance Scheme. This one is so rich and so deep. Can you get rich and deep?
No. Wait.
Anyone from Nanyang Primary School?
Couldn't get it.
You from Nanyang? No, I was there the other day for Chinese New Year celebrations. So my kid goes to the kindergarten there. I saw a lot of Chinese writings on the school. Interesting. You're wondering what link? You all figure out what's the link here?
I don't get it.
Education, right, is your bridge between lower income class and higher income class. So it's like a bridge. You're from lower income class, you go through good quality education, you cross over to higher income class. So this is one biggest way that you can solve income inequity, to help low wage workers or families who are actually in a low wage situation. If their kids receive good education and high quality education, then the next generation, they will no longer have to contend with low wages. They can actually be high wage if they receive high quality education. But that can only happen if first they have the subsidies to make that happen, so that they can even afford to go for it. So that's one way to look at it. So MOE financial assistance scheme, basically what it's supposed to do and what it tries to do is to actually make education cheaper. If it makes education cheaper for low income groups, then they will be able to actually increase their ability of them, or at least their children, to actually get high paid jobs as their skills increase, as their education level increase. So that actually reduces income inequality overall. Right, so that's the basis of this inclusive growth part. The GST voucher one is this. It actually doesn't help to build inclusive growth. It just prevents us from going the other direction, because GST is regressive. GST is regressive means it actually worsens income inequality. Yeah, so by actually redistributing what you get from the extra GST income that the government gets from the GST revenues, it gives it back to the low income groups so that it doesn't worsen their plight. Right? Okay, so we move on. Can you all tell me what this group of policies are supposed to do?
Increase.
No, think about it first. Really think about it first. What issues are they trying to address?
Is it like no, but yes, I think the productivity thing and the skills future thing is different. No, it could be what? Because no, I think it's potential growth. But like no economic growth, then you cannot go and make it like job. Like nature growth and potential growth put together. That's inflation. I don't know.
You figure out. Because the potential growth I already cancelled for you already, ma. I know you were gonna say that, ma. I already said that. Other than that, structural and employment lah. What else?
There's one more, is it?
No, there's one more. How ah? Wow.
Is it inflation?
Chim, why got one more one? Why anyhow one? Why got one more one?
It's not inflation.
No. The inflation one can be dealt with the LA shifting to the right.
Oh yeah.
Right or not? So no what? So how? Huh?
It's not inclusive again, right?
Yes, it's inclusive again.
Oh.
Why? Your senior workers support. Actually, your elderly workers, they tend to also be lower income. Okay, your elderly workers, they tend to get paid less as compared to the rest. Then a lot of these like Skills Future credit and your Heartland Enterprise Upgrading Program, they also addresses more of the needs of the lower income groups. What is the objective? Is to raise their skills. They improve their skills, then their wages can go up. Then you reduce income inequality, and therefore you promote inclusive growth. So of course, other than that, it shifts RAS to the left, and then all your Skills Future credit, it deals more with structural unemployment, right? And most of the policies here, they address structural unemployment and also to increase productivity. Any issues? I think we're going to play game soon already. Are you excited?
Okay.
Okay, next. Singapore and sustainable growth. Okay, can you all recall what is sustainable growth again?
Is that environmental one?
It's not just environmental. There are 4 things. It is environmental one. If I want to achieve sustainable growth, I want to achieve economic growth without crossing these 4 boxes. Worsening environmental degradation is 1. Worsening inflation is 2nd. Worsening income inequality is 3rd. Worsening budget position and therefore government debt, which is to be serviced by future generations, is the 4th. So these are all the check boxes that you have to cross. So you want to achieve sustainable growth, you're going to make sure that you don't cross any of these 4 boxes for achieving economic growth, right? So can you see that there are policies in this year's budget that actually addresses sustainable growth as well? And I really gave you the hint just now, right? So one of the things that you're doing is spending $100 billion to fight climate change in the next few years. And then there's this electrical vehicles thing, was a target by 2040, or 2035 or 2030. What did they say? 2035? Electric vehicle scheme.
What's it?
There's one that phases out electrical vehicle, phases out combustion.
2040 cleaner energy transportation.
Yeah. Correct. So we are no longer going to allow cars that use combustion engines by 2040. Right, but again 2040 feels like like 20 years. Maybe 2040 we are no longer, by default nobody is really using. So that one is a very unambitious goal. Like you want at least 2030 lah. 2040 like what's the world gonna be in 2040? Does the world even exist in 2040? Don't know. So that feels like wow, say for the sake of saying kind of thing. Feels a bit fluffy. 20 years is too far in the future to project. So if you ask me, you should revise it 2030. Right, so we move on. Now, GST is actually a regressive tax. Regressive tax means your lower income groups, a larger proportion of the income goes towards paying GST. The classic example that I always give to why GST is considered regressive tax is this. Imagine you are a low income worker in Singapore, you make $1,000 a month. Imagine you are a bank CEO. If you are a bank CEO in Singapore, you make $1 million a month. So if you're a bank CEO, how much of that 1 million you're going to spend? 100,000? If you spend 100,000, that's only 10% of your income. If you spend 7% of the 100,000 on GST, that is 0.07% of your income. If you go and think about it. No, that's 0.7% of income that is spent on GST. Whereas the fella that earns $1,000, if the fella spends $1,000 on GST, then the fella will be actually spending close to 7% of the income on GST. So 7% versus 0.7%, you'll notice that there's a huge difference as a proportion of income that they spend on GST. That's why we say GST is actually regressive tax. So let me ask you this question. Do you all think there is any workaround to raising GST? That means, can we do other things than raising GST? What can we do?
So you can do, but then it's like not good.
Yeah, what lah? Example?
Personal income.
Sorry? Yeah, you can raise personal income taxes. What else you can do? We raise corporate income taxes, but there are downsides to those things as well, right? Raising personal income taxes, what does it do? Reduce incentive to work. Raising corporate income taxes, what does it do? Discourages investment. So go for things that you don't really want to do. Other than raising taxes, what else can you do? Spend less. You can try to spend less. But is that easy to do for Singapore when we have an aging population? Healthcare expenditures go up. Right. Do you think it is absolutely necessary for Singapore to raise GST? Do you think it's absolutely necessary? Okay, never mind. We come back to this slide later. We jump slide first.
So is the you say spend less as in like austerity, is it?
No, not austerity. Like just make sure we raise GST because we're spending more, ma. Then if we don't want to raise GST, then we spend less, lah.
As the consumers,
Yeah, no, as in the government.
they spend.
Less on things like healthcare. Healthcare expenditure is rising, right? Because we're growing older, right? So if healthcare expenditure is going up, and then we also spend all this money to help the poor, right? Inclusive growth, right? So income expenditure is going up, right? Money don't drop from the sky. So you got to raise taxes. Nothing to do with austerity. We just say if you want to spend more, you raise taxes. But if you don't want to raise taxes, you can just choose to spend less. That's also an option. Okay. Now, I want to tell you something that is quite shocking. Actually, right, in most of the last few years, right, our government expenditure, right, has actually exceeded the amount that we are collecting from tax revenue. I repeat, our government expenditure exceeds the amount we collect from tax revenues. From here, you should think, hey, then doesn't that mean that Singapore is in a budget deficit? No. The answer is no. We actually still have budget surpluses. Why? It's because of this thing called NIRC. What is NIRC? Correct, net investment return contribution. What is net investment return contribution? So what Singapore does is this. So every year we have a lot of budget surplus, right? Okay, we have a lot of budget surpluses, right? What do? We put in the reserve. The reserve, right? What do we do with the reserve? We invest the reserves. We take these reserves, we get GIC, we get Temasek Holdings, we get to help us invest. When you invest money, what do you get? You get returns. So we take these returns, we add it back to our budget to spend. Half of it, we add it back to the budget to spend. The other half, we add it back to the reserves. Okay? Right, so that is the NIRC. Okay, and then there is the reason why Singapore treats this concept of fiscal prudence so seriously. Why we treat this concept of fiscal prudence so seriously is because of fiscal prudence. It allows us to have such huge reserves. If because we have such huge reserves, we can actually spend more money than we actually have from tax revenues, because a part of our income comes from our investments. Alright, so that is NIRC. Okay, now here's some things for you to go and think about. Previously, our expenditure has gone up, and then we increased our GST from 5% to 7%. Now we are raising GST again because we are expecting the aging population to lead to increase in healthcare expenditure, and we want to try to actively promote inclusive growth. So that's why we are raising GST again, to finance this extra spending that the government needs. So here's something to think about, because this is something that affects your generation. 2030, you'll be working adults by then. So as you're working adults, what if the government says, hey, let's increase GST from 9% to 12%? And then they give the same reasons. How? So if you realize that it is a recurring problem that's going to keep taking place, right? Unless your population, for some magical reason, your birth rate suddenly go up, your total fertility rate go up. If your total fertility rate doesn't go up, then this problem is going to keep recurring, right? So is this a solution that is long-term in nature? This is something to think about, more for evaluation purposes. Okay, so with that, I think we're done for today's class in terms of the theory and the discussions really. Now we're going to play the budget game. Okay, so there's this sheet of paper that says the budget game. I'm gonna give you 15 minutes. You're gonna come up to a common consensus together as a group of 3. Come up to common consensus. How does it work? Have you got a paper? The paper is split to 2 halves. The first half is, at the present moment, actually, if you compare this side and this side, they're currently balanced. Okay, which Singapore case, we try to keep it balanced on, so it's currently balanced. This the list of requests that your population wants from you. Your population asks for it. Your voters demand for it. Alright, they say, I want these things. Then you cannot say, I'm going to give them nothing. You're going to try to give them some of it. But if you're going to give them some of these things, you have to find some ways to pay for these things. So how are you going to pay for these things? I want you to justify your reasoning for why do you choose to spend on these things, which things do you choose to spend on, justify your reasoning. And then on the other side, justify what exactly you're willing to do. And then come explain your things to me later. The 3 of you. 15 minutes. Let's go. It's not 60, meh? What do you?
I think so.
What do you want? What yours?
It's not balanced, it's we got extra government revenue.
What you all gonna spend on?
What's NRS? Like, I forgot already.
What you gonna spend on? Quick. What's up?
Hey, Mr. To after class, can you give me a short NRC? You give me cash course again.
Sure.
I forgot.
Quick. What? Which one are you spending on?
We spending on everything, but we changed the budget for everything.
Huh?
Oh, you cannot change.
No, you can't. It's fixed.
Then we just tell me the one with no change.
What?
The short term relief to firms facing difficulties during economic downturn, we are going to spend on that.
So you're gonna spend on that?
Then we're spending on the. Should we just say we're spending this? The transport one.
Yeah.
The transport one.
Okay, you're spending on transport one.
We basically changed everything. Then after we are going to tax. Shit, we changed the tax for almost everything. Betting technically not changing, right?
Yeah, we're not
We
changing.
are keeping betting.
Sorry, what do you mean?
The betting taxes we are gonna.
No, so are you gonna increase?
As in,
Stay.
yeah, like.
Can we change?
No, as in, what do you mean?
No,
Can we increase? Like, are we introduced to be?
You have it's a maximum. There's a reason why it is a certain amount, because sometimes you cannot do too much at one go. If you do too much at one go, then the casino will say, "I'll pull out. I'm not gonna continue doing business here." Then your tax is actually effectively zero. If you don't have betting tax, then there's no tax, what? They don't have a casino here, then there's no betting tax, what?
but
Ah.
how come what we should spend on, we can't just change the thing out? Like we feel like we only spend so much for.
No, you have to go by constraints. You cannot invent your own numbers. If you go and invent your own numbers, then you're violating the rules of constraints. Right? In life, there are constraints. Right? This is the numbers you have to work with. So you have to play with the numbers that you want to work with. Right? That's to recognize the issue of constraints. Right?
Why can't you spend like, let's say 4 billion on unemployment insurance?
Okay, so let me give you an example. So you say, I want to spend $4 billion on unemployment insurance. So why would you be able to spend $4 billion instead of $5 billion? That means there is a trade-off that you want to discuss again. That is an additional trade-off. So you say, I'm going to provide unemployment insurance for everybody, but it's only going to be this amount. So like maybe say I'm only going to give you 20% of your last drawn income as opposed to 30% of last drawn income. That's what unemployment insurance is about. Unemployment insurance is you get fired, the government gives you a payout every month. That is 20% or 30%. But let's say, for example, 30% is a very huge difference from 20%. For example, so like 30% might make sense. 1/3 of your last drawn pay might make sense, but 1/5 of your last drawn pay, you might as well then don't have it already. So these are like you want to you can't possibly like open up fresh discussions of other trade-offs you want to have by. So now then you got to debate individual policy trade-offs that if you want to discuss why would you spend a little bit less on that, then there's another issue on its own already. You have to work with the constraints that you have. Let's try again.
Oh no.
How about we just remove the whole unemployment, then we find
We do the alcohol and
Can you raise taxes?
Then here.
yeah.
I think we need to
To
use
be
all
the
the
bottom two.
Okay, so you're gonna do bottom two.
Okay, it's like two.
So 3 already mah? 2 and 1, 3 mah?
Should we do ERP tax?
So you got 3. You will only pay her for one of it, right?
Yeah, then after that, ERP and the personal.
Okay, so
Yeah, I know, but isn't that unfair?
not enough. You still don't have enough. Yeah, because 3 plus 1 plus 1, 5. Here you got 6. So increase the price for water and electricity. So is that all?
Maybe not increase, but can't do more.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
Now we can remove like
Yeah, I think we should remove the personal income tax.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, can we say if we remove the personal income tax will like drive all the really high people out of it.
Yes, exactly the point. So like that, so this is your final answer? Is it your final answer? Okay, so justify why you want to do this and this.
Because the economic downturn, wait, this is Singapore
Yes, Singapore
right?
context.
Cyclical unemployment is like, it happens during economic downturn, then it affects the area of the country. Then it's like, if you let it snowball, it will make it will just kill out the economy. So we should, and then if like our economy faces a recession, it will affect every single person in Singapore. So we should deal with that.
Okay, then the other one?
Then transport infrastructure is like,
benefits everyone.
yeah, we were like trying to like
Okay.
spend on something
Okay.
that benefits.
I'm gonna tell you this for this, and this, right? If you choose to raise this or this, right? Any of these three, these three are called unhappy taxes. Unhappy taxes will reduce your political votes by 5% from the population. So we're assuming that there are people who like to gamble, there are people who like to smoke, there are people who like to drink, there are people who like to drink. And they all form a sizable part of the population. So every time you raise one of these taxes, you lose 5% of your votes. I'm gonna help you bear in mind. Okay, at the last election, 2015 election, the government got 70% of the popular vote. In the 2011 election, it got 60% of the popular vote. If we are in a year where the country actually is at 60%, right? If you did all these three, right, and it causes you to lose your government and you have political upheaval, maybe end up like Malaysia, the three of you will be responsible for it. Because you choose to raise three unhappy things all simultaneously. Which is the reason why the government will never ever do it this way. They will never ever raise these three things all at the same time. You want to piss people off, you piss one group. You don't piss most people off.
I'll go for the tax change to 3 billion.
Okay, so
Wait, but then more people, then how big is it?
tell me how big is it?
Like,
So now I'm introducing extra variables into the equation for you to think about law. Because it's about trade-off and constraint Yeah, you say, yeah, this one makes sense economically, it makes sense. These two, I tell you, say, yeah, it makes sense economically because it deals with market failure as well. But it doesn't make sense politically because you lose 10% of the total votes. This one you say it makes sense economically, what if I tell you, say, it raises the cost of production for delivery firms? Delivery and logistics firms, the companies that deliver your Redmart, your Lazada stuff, they have to pay more ERP, their cost of production go up. So how? So is this your final answer?
I think GST is bad. No, we should definitely attack one of the unhappy groups.
Okay.
Attack both sides equally. Like attack the low income and the high income.
So then we just use the betting one. Betting that affects on the three people. So we should just extend.
So how? You want to change your answer? So you want to increase GST? No, then you want to delete any of these things or not before you increase GST? What do you want to
I
delete?
think we shouldn't increase like a proper tax.
Huh?
Because I think a lot of people will angry then you lose your political.
So you don't want people to be angry, so anything else you want to delete? You want to delete the ERP one, okay?
Yeah, shit, true.
Anything else you want to delete?
No,
So you want to what?
no, actually no, gambling is addictive.
No, I want to share with you something. So confirm you want to increase betting taxes already, is it? Is it confirm? You confirm, then I tell you what will happen. So originally I don't know, maybe Marina Bay Sands was thinking, or maybe Universal Studios Singapore was thinking, Genting Singapore was thinking, well, we're going to apply from the government to open up an extra space next to Universal Studios and expand because we've been doing well. And our casino have been doing well, we've been making a lot of money. So we're going to bring in Harry Potter land. So we're going to bring in the Harry Potter world. Yeah, and then we're going to spend more. It will create jobs, it will create investment. Investment will have gone up. But then the government implemented this, showing that my long-term prospects of operating a casino sucks. Because the government will always, happy go and raise my taxes. Which means to say that my revenues will fall. So I cannot operate in an environment where the government is very hostile towards investment like mine. They let me in really, but they constantly raise gambling taxes. Then they shouldn't have let me in to begin with. Trade-offs. So you want a Harry Potter world or not, basically?
Yeah, but the rent spaces are what? Can you speak out of the shit?
Huh? How? So how?
But personal income taxes will make your political favor like very shit because it affects everybody.
No, the personal income taxes only affect the people who earn above 500,000. Very tiny group of people.
But then they'll leave the country. Then
Yeah, so let me show you this guy. How much investment this guy have. So
But that one guy, right? We increase his like he take his entire $100,000 over to you. Then we are gone. Who's that first person?
let me show you. This third guy, Eleanor Severin, he's the Facebook co-founder. Former Facebook co-founder. He's a Singapore citizen. He currently invests a lot in Singapore's businesses like Lazada, right? RedMart, right? He has shares in it. So you want to raise his personal income taxes, you confirm? Okay, so he pull up all his investment, he's going to move elsewhere.
Yeah, go on.
So we lose 10,000 jobs.
Hey, I said 100,000. I went a bit too far.
And then the Hai Di Lao guy also, he's going to pull up. He's going to say bye-bye.
Which one? The first one?
I don't know, Hai Di Lao guy, I don't know where's the Hai Di Lao guy.
The
No.
first one said restaurant.
Then there's this guy also. This guy, Forrest Lee, he's also he also runs this gaming thing in Singapore.
Oh, Razer is it?
Not Razer is Tamina, he's based in US. This guy is based in Singapore. I don't know what is it called.
Armageddon?
Garena?
Oh, Garena.
Yeah.
League of Legends one.
I think so. This guy is the guy. You can go and Google him up. All these guys go bye-bye. They say screw you Singapore, bye-bye. I'm gonna go off. And I'm bringing my jobs with me.
Every time.
Cause you think we suck. You want to tekan us.
But
Okay lor.
it's one, if you just grab 1 million from all of them, right, that's quite a lot of 500,000 people. Right?
Ha ha ha
I don't
ha.
think, like our econ prospect really good, so they won't leave, right?
I don't know. You want to take the risk?
I don't think they'll leave
You
though.
want to take the risk? But you want to take the risk?
I don't think you take 1 million from the Hai Di Lao guy, he also don't care what.
You
He just got 15 more minutes.
you all get it already, no? Have you all gotten it already? Have you gotten the moral of the story today already, no?
You lose everything you do.
You got it? No matter what choice you make, you suck. You realize that? Because at the end of the day, I think you're all gonna come to the conclusion that the easiest choice that you're gonna make is to raise GST, which is what the bloody government is doing, right? The GST one, because it gets taxes from a large group of people. Every freaking person pay GST. That's why you're gonna get a large amount of tax revenue, right? By just doing that one thing, right? So raising GST, is it gonna let people to be very unhappy? Do you think it's gonna let people to be very unhappy? But you're not like discriminatory, you realize. You're not like discriminating against any specific group. You're saying everybody kena. And it's not significant. It's not like I significantly raise your cost of living very very significant. It's 2% each. So you like spread over the cost to large number of people. Is it a good policy? Very frankly, I don't know. If I was the government, would I have done it? I really don't know whether that's the best choice. If you ask me for my personal opinion as an econs tutor, right? I don't know. Is it the best choice? I don't know.
I think they should increase GST but add GST vouchers on the other side.
They are doing that already. They are already doing that. Right. So in the end, your choice, whatever choice that you had, GST would have been one of the easiest choice that you would have made on the other end of the equation. And then you have choose one of these other 1 billion things to spend on. Right? And then you realize actually are there a lot of other good projects to have spent on? There were other good projects, right? But you realize that I cannot anyhow just whack, because whatever good projects I want to spend on, I must look at the other side of the equation. Can I pay for it? Where am I going to find the money to pay for it? Cool? Any questions?